Hello everybody, welcome to Life with Lisa, and today I wanted to talk about wedding planning priorities. A little whiteboard edition for you guys today, and I just want to go over in my experience so far in planning my wedding, the top priorities I think that need to be taken care of first in the planning process to make everything else run as smoothly as possible. So let's see what those are. I have kind of a top 5 priorities that I believe should be handled first in your wedding planning process, and the first one is a venue. So a venue. So everything on my priority list I'm going to talk about today is based on availability, actually. And all of these vendors are going to fill up very quickly. So if you want specific places, venues, caterers, etc., you need to get on that right away to make sure you get that date that you guys want your wedding to be on. So venue, whether it's a barn, a church, a friend's house, or just a winery maybe, you're gonna want to call those people one of the first things you do in the planning process, because again, they fill up very, very fast. So the second priority in my planning tips would be to get your caterer. We all know weddings are food. It's all about the food, after the I-dos and all of that kind of stuff. It's time to eat some food. So, and I love my food. So a caterer would be number 2 on my list, because it is a very, very important part of the wedding reception. And if you have a specific cater type of food, maybe a specialty food, you are going to want to book those as soon as possible to make sure you can get your wedding date secured with them. But also, a lot of them will take the original deposit, but then will allow you to make payments. So the further out you book your caterer, the longer amount of time you're going to have to make those payments if that specific caterer will allow you to make payments. Number 3, your dress. What you are going to wear down the aisle on your wedding day. I put this at number 3 because venues and caterers tend to fill up very, very, very quickly, and wedding dress shopping can happen pretty much any time. I would suggest getting your dress as soon as possible, so you have plenty of time to make all the needed alterations to your dress. And depending on where you get your dress, some of them are very, very booked in their alteration appointments. So most places will take between 4 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks to get your dress back from alterations. So you want to give yourself a good 2-month cushion, I would say, if your time frame allows it, to get your dress altered and be able to get it back and make sure it's right. And still have time to, if something does need tweaked, like one little bit, to have time to get it changed last minute right before you guys' wedding. Number 4 on the list is going to be your photographer. Let's put you down here. Photographers get booked just like venues and caterers pretty quick. And if you want a specific look or a specific photographer, one of your favorites, then you are going to want to make sure to get your date booked as soon as possible. Again, you can maybe make payments as well, similar to the caterer. And number 5 is going to be a DJ. Not everybody is gonna have a DJ, and so it might not apply to you. But if you are planning on having a DJ, I would definitely call around depending on what your budget is. That will obviously narrow down your focus of what DJs you can and can't get, but also, again, the date of your wedding. So for example, when I was calling a couple DJs, I had one that one of my friends used a couple years ago, and he was pretty good, and he's local to where we live and where we're gonna be getting married. And so I called him, told him our wedding date, and he said, sorry, he already had 4 weddings that day. 4 weddings already were booked for my day that I was asking about. So he referred me to a couple others who I didn't end up going with. But point being, DJs can fill up just as fast as any of these other things here. So again, that is why it's on one of the top priorities. If you want a certain DJ, certain look, certain sound, if you have a favorite, go ahead and call them first. Number 6 is gonna be your cake or your baker, your desserts. If you are having your wedding cake made and your cupcakes made by somebody, you're gonna want to get those booked as well. And the sooner you look around for a baker, the more time it's going to give you to really search around for prices and decide what you really want. Do you want all cupcakes? Do you want one huge towering wedding cake? Do you want one little cake for you and your husband and a lot of big sheet cakes for your guests? Or are you just gonna forgo all of it and do a candy bar? There's tons of options out there, but the earlier you decide what you want, the sooner you can book your baker and look around for prices as well. And number 7 on my priority list is going to be your hair and makeup. So all of these here, your venue, your caterer, your dress, photographer, DJ, baker, and hair and makeup person. The reason why I put these 7 as wedding planning priorities is because they are the ones that book the fastest and fill up the fastest. So you don't want to wait till the last minute to look for your caterer, maybe. If you have a specific, kind of food you're wanting, you don't want to wait till the last minute because they may not be available for your wedding date. So after all of this is at least thought of and hopefully booked and started deposits and such, at least a good idea. You need to have ideas for all of this stuff as soon as possible, and then book as soon as possible, because then you can do all the fun stuff like your save the dates and your invitations and picking your bridal party and your colors and all of the what I consider small little details. Well, at the same time they're not small, but you can do your invitations later. You need a venue and a dress before you can send out invitations. That is just how I did it. That's, for the most part, that's how I plan mine. I actually have, yes, I have all of that done. I actually just sent out most of my save the dates last week, 2 weeks ago, I think. So once I had the main things here done, I was able to get a lot of stress off my shoulders and not have to worry about the big things of the wedding. This might not work for you. You might have, a small backyard wedding that you're not gonna have a bunch of this stuff and you have a lot of family helping you. But either way, this is kind of a blueprint of how I did it to lessen the wedding planning stress, because we all know that wedding planning is stressful enough. So I try and find any possible way to make it less stressful. So now I can focus on invitations. I'm actually going to be making my invitations, so that's going to take some time. The bridesmaids dresses, the flower girl dresses, who's wearing what on the bridal party, centerpieces, decorations, what we need to rent as far as tables or chairs or any other decorations or props we might need to rent. So yeah, that's all I have. I hope this helps a little bit. That's just kind of my top priorities in the wedding planning process. So if you would like to follow my journey and hear some more tips and tricks that I find and discover along my wedding planning journey, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.